Hello, my name is Emma and today I'll be reading Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling. Chapter 16, Through the Trapdoor. In years to come, Harry would never quite remember how he had managed to get through when he half expected Voldemort to come bursting in through the door at any moment. It was wonderingly hot, especially in the classroom, where they did their written papers. They had been given special new quotes for the exams, which had been bewitched with an anti-cheating spell. They had practical exams as well. Professor Flitwick called them one by one into his class to see if they could make a pineapple tap dance across the desk. Professor McGonagall watched them turn a mouse into a snuff box. Points were given for how pretty the snuff box was, but taken away if it had whiskers. Snape made them all feel nervous, breathing down their necks when they tried to remember how to make a forgetfulness potion. Harry did the best he could, trying to ignore the stabbing pains in his forehead, which had been bothering him ever since his trip to the forest. Except that it was now worse than ever been. There was a hooded figure dropping blood. Maybe it was because they hadn't seen what Harry had seen in the forest, because they didn't have scars burning on their foreheads. But Ron and Hermione didn't seem worried about the stone. The idea of Voldemort suddenly scared him. And they were so busy with their revision, they didn't have much time to fret about what Snape or anyone else might be up to. Their very last exam was History of Magic, taught by Professor Binns. 1 hour of answering questions about batty old wizards who had invented self-starving cauldrons, and they'd be free for a whole wonderful week until their exam results came out. When the ghost of Professor Binns told them to put their cords down and roll up their parchment, Harry couldn't help cheering with this. That was far easier than I thought it would be, said Hermione as they joined the crowds flocking out into the sunny grounds. I needn't have learned about the 1637 Werewolf Code of Conduct, the uprising of Elfric the Eager. Hermione always liked to go through the exam papers afterwards, but Ron said that this made him feel ill, so they wandered down to the lake and flopped under a tree. The Weasley twins and Lee Jordan was tickling the tentacles of the giant squid who was basking in the warm shallows. Bless me. No more revision! Ha ha ha! One said happily, stretching out on the grass. You couldn't look more cheerful, Harry. We've got a whole week before we find out how badly we've done this. No need to worry yet. I wish I knew what this means, he burst angrily. My skull keeps hurting. It's had happened before, but never as often as this. I'm not in, said Harry. I think it's a warning. It means danger's coming. Ron couldn't get worked up. It was too hot. Harry, relax. Hermione's right. The stone's safe as long as Dumbledore's around. Anyway, we've never had any proof Snape found out how to get past Fluffy. He nearly had his leg ripped off once. He's not going to try for it again in a hurry, as Neville will play Quidditch for England before Harry lets Dumbledore down. Harry nodded, but he couldn't shake off a lurking feeling that there was something he'd forgotten to do, something important. When he tried to explain this, Hermione said, "That's just exams. I woke up last time and was halfway through my transfiguration notes before I remembered we'd done that one." Harry was quite sure the unsettled feeling didn't have anything to do with work. A note clamp. No. Where was I? Hagrid was the only one who... No, wait. He watched an elf flutter towards the ground with the blue sky, holding a letter in its mouth. Hagrid was the only one who ever sent him letters. Hagrid was the only... No. Hagrid would never tell anyone how to get past Fluffy. Never. And then Harry said, they had to go to Harry's hut. Now. Ooh, don't you think it's a bit odd, said Harry, scrambling up the grassy slope, that what Harry wants more than anything else is a dragon, and the stranger turns up, who just happens to have an egg in his pocket. How many people run around with dragon eggs if it's against the wizard law? Lucky they found Hagrid, don't you think? Why didn't I see it before? What are you on about? Said Ron, but Harry sprinting across the grounds towards the forest and didn't answer. Long. Hello, he said, smiley. Yes, please, but hey, couscous. No, you know the time you don't. The boy Norbert. What does the stranger you're playing cards with look like? Don't know, said Hagrid casually. He saw the three of them look stunned and raised his eyebrows. It's not that unusual. You got a little funny frog in the hog's head. That's the pups down in the village. Might have been a drug dealer, mightn't he? Never saw his face. He kept his head up. What did you talk to him about? He asked what I did, and I told him I was a gamekeeper. He asked a bit of the really wanted a dragon, and then I can't remember too well because he kept buying me a drink. Yeah, then I would play for it, but he had to be sure I could handle it, so I didn't want it to go to any old home. So I told him after Fluffy. Yeah. Well, yeah. How many three-headed dogs did your amigo grandfather? So I told him Fluffy, the piece of cake. if you know how to calm him down, just play him a bit of music to make him off to sleep. Harry suddenly looked horrified. I shouldn't have told you that, he blurted. Forget it, I said it. Hey, where are you going? Got to go to Dumbledore. Harry told that stranger how to get past Fluffy. And it was either Snape or Voldemort. It must have been easy once he's got Harry drunk. I hope Dumbledore believes us. Firenze might back us up if Bane doesn't stop him. Where's Dumbledore's office? They had never been told where Dumbledore lived or did know anyone had been sent to see him. What are you doing to see him? What? Harry swallowed. Now what? It's a sort of secret, but he went out what he said he hadn't. He received an urgent out from the Ministry of Magic and flew off for London at once. He's gone. But this is important. Something you have to say is more important than the Ministry of Magic, Potter. Look. I think I know that someone's going to try and steal the stone. No, I mean, look, said Harry, throwing caution to the winds. Professor, it's about the Philosopher's Stone. Whatever Professor McGonagall had expected, it wasn't that. The book she was carrying tumbled out of her arms and she didn't pick them up. How do you know? She spluttered. Professor, I think I know that someone's going to steal the stone. I've got to talk to Professor Dumbledore. She eyed him with a mixture of shock and suspicion. Professor Dumbledore will be back tomorrow, she said finally. I don't know how you found about the stone, but rest assured, no one can possibly steal it. It's too well protected. But Professor, I know what I'm talking about, she said shortly. She bent down and gathered up the fallen books. I suggest you all go back outside and enjoy the sunshine, but they didn't. It's tonight. Harry once he was sure Professor McGonagall was out of earshot. Snape's going through the trapdoor tonight. He's found out everything he needs, and now he's got Dumbledore out of the way. He's sent that note. I bet the Ministry of Magic will get a real shock when Dumbledore turns up. But can we? Harry gasped. Be warned, Potter. Any more not wandering, and I will personally make you expelled, said Snape. Good day to you. He strode off in the direction of the staff room. Out on the stone steps, Harry turned to the others. Right, here's what we've got to do, he whispered urgently. One of us has got to keep an eye on Snape. Wait outside. You've got to wait on Snape. Wait outside the staff room and follow him if he leaves it. Hermione, you better do that. Why me? It's obvious, said Ron. You can pretend to be waiting for Professor Flickwick, you know. He put on a high voice. Oh, Professor Flitwick, I'm not worried. I think I got question 14B wrong. Oh, shut up, said Hermione. But she agreed and watched out for Snape. We'd better stay outside the third floor corridor. I told one, come on. But that... But the work. Then Professor McGonagall turned up again. This time she lost her temper. I suppose you're harder to get past than a pack of enchantments, she stormed. Enough of this nonsense. If I hear you come anywhere near here again, I'll take another 50 points from Gryffindor. Yes, Weasley, from my own house. Harry and Ron went back to the common room. Harry had just... At least Hermione's on Snape's tail when the portrait of the fat lady swung open and Hermione came in. I'm sorry, Harry, she wailed. And Snape came out and asked me what I was doing. So I said I was waiting to take the Flitwick. So Snape went to get him, and I only just got away. I don't know where Snape went. Well, that's it then, isn't it? Harry said. The other two stared at him with peril, and his eyes were glittering. I'm going out of here tonight, and I'm going to try and get the phone first. You're mad, said Ron. You can't, said Hermione. After what McGonagall and Snape have said, you'll be expelled. So what? Harry shouted. Don't you understand? If Snape gets hold of the stone, Voldemort's coming back. Haven't you heard what it was like when he was trying to take over? There won't be any Hogwarts to get expelled from. He will flatten it or turn into a school for the dark arts. Losing points doesn't matter anymore, can't you see? Do you think you'll leave and your families alone if Gryffindor win the House Cup? If I get caught before I can get to the stone, well, I have to go back to Dursley's and wait for Voldemort to find me there. It's only dying a bit later than I would have done, because I'm never going over to the dark side. I'm going through that trapdoor tonight, and nothing you to say is going to stop me. Voldemort killed my parents, remember? He glared at them. You're right, Harry, said Hermione in a small voice. I'll use the invisibility cloak, said Harry. It's just lucky I got it back. But will it cover all three of us, said Ron. All three of us? Oh, come off it. You don't think we'll let you go alone? Of course not, said Hermione briskly. How would you think you would get to the stone without us? I bet I'll look into my book. That might be something useful. But if we get caught, you two will be expelled too. Not if I can help it. Flitwick told me in secret that I got 112% on his exam. They're not throwing me out after that. After After dinner, the three of them sat nervously apart in the common room. Nobody bothered them. None of the Gryffindors had seen anything to Harry anymore after all. This was the first night he hadn't been upset about it. Hermione was skimming through her notes, all her notes, hoping to come across one of the enchantments they were about to try and break. Harry and Ron didn't talk much. Both of them were thinking about what they were about to do. Slowly, the room emptied as people drifted off to bed. Better get the cloak on, Ron muttered, as Lee Jordan finally left, stretching and yawning. Pages. Oh, such a long. We'd better put the cloak on here and make sure it covers all three of us. It feels spots one of our feet wandering along on its own. And then Harry turned to Hermione and he said, "Do something," he said desperately. Hermione stepped forward. "Neville," she said, "I'm really, really sorry about this." She raised her wand. "Petrificus totalus!" she cried, pointing it at Neville. Neville's arms snapped to his sides. His legs sprang together, his whole body rigid. He swayed where he stood and then fell flat on his face, stiff as a board. Hermione ran to turn him over. Neville's jaws were jammed together so he couldn't speak. Only his eyes were moving, looking at them in horror. "What have you done?" Harry whispered. "It's a full body bind," said Hermione miserably. "Oh, Neville, I'm so sorry." "We had to, Neville. No time to explain," said Harry. "You'll understand later, Neville," said Ron, as they stepped over him and pulled on the invisibility cloak. But leaving Neville lying motionless on the floor didn't feel like a very good omen. In this nervous state, every statue's shadow looked like Filch. Every distant breeze, every wind sounded like Peeves swooping down on them. At the foot of the set of stairs, and this is my favourite part. "Peeves," he said. "Should I call Filch?" "I should, if something's creeping around." And Harry had sudden idea. "Peeves," he said in a hoarse whisper, "the bloody Baron has his own reasons for being invisible." Peeves almost fell out of the air in shock. He caught himself in time and hovered about a foot of the stairs. "So sorry, your bloodiness, Mr. Baron, sir." "Sir," he said easily, "my mistake. I didn't see you, of course. I didn't. You're invisible. Forget old Peevesy, his little joke, sir. I have business here, Piers, croaked Harry. Stay away from this place tonight. I will, sir. I most certainly will, said Piers, rising up in the air again. Hope your business goes well, Baron. I will not bother you. And he scooted off. Brilliant, Harry whispered. And you know, it's just that Harry's pretending to be the bloody Baron. Like, please, he said. Anyway, well, there you are, Harry said quietly. Snape's already gone past Fluffy. Seeing the open door somehow seemed to impress them of what was seen all underneath. As the door creaked lower, well, what's that at its feet? Hermione whispered. Snape must have left it there. It must have woke up the moment you stopped playing, said Harry. Well, here it goes. Next page. Started on its paws and fell to its knees. Then it slumped and fell fast asleep. Keep playing, one warned. Harry, and they slipped out of the cloak and crept towards the trapdoor. They could feel the dog's smelly breath as they approached the giant's head. I think we'll be able to pull the door open, John, peering over the dog's back. Want to go first, Hermione? No, I don't. All right. He gritted his teeth and stepped carefully over the dog's legs. He bent and pulled the ring of the trapdoor, which swung open. What can you see? Hermione said anxiously. Nothing, just black. There's no way of climbing down. We just have to drop. Hermione. Okay. You want to go? Nothing, just black. Harry handed the flute over. In a few seconds' silence, the dog growled and twitched, but the moment Hermione began to play, it fell back into its deep sleep. Harry climbed over it and looked down through the trapdoor. There was no sign of the bottom. He lowered himself down through the hole until he was hanging on by his fingertips. Then he looked up at Ron and said, "If anything happens to me, don't follow. Go straight to the owlry and send head to Dumbledore." Right, said Ron. See you in a minute. Flump. It's okay, he called up to the light. It's a soft landing, you can jump. Ron followed straight away. What's this stuff? Was his first words. We must be miles under the school, she said. Lucky this plant things here really, said Ron. Lucky, shrieked Hermione. Look at you both. She leaped and struggled towards a dump wall. She had struggled, but the moment she had landed, the plant had started to twist snake-like tendrils around her ankles. As for Harry and Ron, their legs had been bound tightly in long claws without them noticing. Stop moving, Hermione ordered them. I know what this is. It's Devil's Snare. I'm so glad we know what it's called. That's a great help. Snod, when leaning back, trying to stop the plant curling around his neck. Shut up. I'm trying to remember how to kill it, said Hermione. Well, hurry up. I can't breathe, Harry guessed, wrestling with it as it curled around his chest. Devil's Snare, what did Professor Sprout say? It likes it dark and damp. So light a fire, Harry choked. Yes, of course, but there's no wood. Hermione cried, wringing her hands. Have you gone mad? Have you gone mad? Ron bellowed. Are you a witch or not? Oh, right, said Hermione, and she whipped out her hand, waved it, muttered something, and sent a jet of the same bluebell flames he had used on Snape at the plant. In a matter of seconds, the two boys felt it loosening its grip as it craned away from the light and warmth. Wriggling and flailing, it unraveled itself from the bodies and they were able to pull free. Lucky you pay attention in herbology, Hermione said Harry as he joined her by the wall, wiping sweat off his face. Yes, said Ron, and lucky Harry doesn't lose his head in the creases. There's no wood, honestly. This way, said Harry, pointing down a stone passageway, which was the only way on. They reached the end of the passageway and saw before them a brilliantly lit chamber. It was full of small, jewel-bright birds fluttering and tumbling all around the room. On the opposite side of the room was a heavy chamber door. Do you think they'll attack us if we cross the room? Said Ron. Probably, said Harry, but they don't look very vicious. But I suppose if they all swoop down at once, but there's nothing real upset. Well, there's nothing for it. Oh, Ron. He expected to feel sharp beaks and claws tearing at him any second, but nothing happened. He reached the door untouched. He pulled the handle, but it was locked. The other two followed him. They tugged and heaved at the door, but it wouldn't budge, not even when Hermione tried to allow her more of a charm. Now what? These birds, they can't be here for decorations. They watch the birds. soaring overhead, glittering. Glittering? They're not birds! Harry said silently. They're keys! Wooden keys! Look carefully. So that must mean... Yes, look! Broomsticks! We've got to catch the key to the door, but there are hundreds of them. They grabbed and snapped, but between the bewitched keys started them down so quickly, it's almost impossible to catch one. And then, not for nothing though, was Harry the youngest seeker in the century. He had a knack for spotting things other people didn't. After minutes weaving about through the well of rainbow feathers, he noticed a large silver key that had a bent wing, as if it was already caught and stuffed roughly into the keyhole. That's one, he called to the others. That big one there, no, there, with bright blue wings. The feathers are all crumpled up one side. One went speeding in the direction that Harry was pointing, crashed into the ceiling and nearly fell off his broom. We've got to close in on it, Harry called, not taking his eyes off the key with the damaged wing. You come at it from above. Hermione, stay below and get it. And stop it going down, and I'll try and catch it. What? Right, now! Ron dived. Hermione rocketed upward. The key dodged them both, and Harry streaked after it. It sped towards the wall. Harry leaned forwards and with a nasty crunching noise pinned it against the stone with one hand. When Hermione's cheers echoed around the high chamber, they landed quickly and Hermione rammed the door. Ready? They nodded. He pulled the door open. What will we do? It's obvious, isn't it? We've got to play our way. How? I think when we've got to be chessmen. He walked up. At once the stone spun to life. The whole... do we have to join you to get across? The Black Knight nodded. Harry turned to this once thinking about it. We've got to take the place of 3 of the black pieces. Harry and Hermione stayed quiet, watching Ron think. Don't be offended or anything, but neither of you are good at that chess. We're not offended, said Harry quickly. Just tell us what to do. Well, you take the power. You take the place of that bishop. And Hermione, you go there of that castle. What about you? I'm going to be a knight, said Ron. The chessmen seemed to have been listening. Because at these words, a knight, a bishop, and the castle turned their backs on the 3 white pieces and walked off the board, leaving 3 empty squares with Harry, Ron, and Hermione took. White always plays first in chess, said Ron, peering the board. Yes, look. A white pawn had moved forward 2 squares. Ron started to direct the black pieces. They moved silently wherever they sent him. Harry's knees were trembling. What if they lost? Harry moved diagonally 4 squares to the right. Their first real shock came when the other knight was taken. The White Queen smashed him to the floor and dragged him off the board. Had to let that happen, said Ron, shaken. Leaves you free to take that bishop. Money, go on. Every time one of their men lost, the white pieces showed no mercy. Soon there was a huddle of limp black players slumped along the wall twice. One in time that Harry and Hermione were in danger. He himself darted towards the boards, taking almost as many ice pieces as they had. Nearly lost black ones were nearly there, he muttered presently. Let me think. And then, yes, said Ron softly. It's the only way. I've got to be taken. No! Harry and Hermione shouted. That's chess, snapped Ron. You've got to make some sacrifices. I will make my move and you'll take me. That leaves you free to checkmate the king. Do you want to stay or not? No, Ron. If you two don't hurry, then we can't do it. So, he'll be all right. What do you reckon next? Okay, we have Sprouts. That was a devil snare. Flitwick must have put charms on the keys. Professor McGonagall figured the chessmen to make them alive. That leaves Crowspell and Snape's. They had reached another door. All right, Harry whispered. Go on. Just dusting snow. Make them put their robes over their noses. Eyes watering, they saw flood. A trolley larger than the one they had toggled out Cold River. Bloody lump on its head. I'm glad we didn't have to fight that one. As they stepped carefully over one of its massive legs. Come on, we can't move. Look, there's a bottles. Danger lies before you. Whatever safety lies behind. Two of us will help you, whichever you would find. One among us 7 who are left you move ahead. Another will transport the drinker back instead. 2 among our number hold only level 1. 3 of us are killers, waiting hidden in line. Choose unless you wish to stay here forevermore. To help you in your choice, we give you these clues for. First, however slightly the potion tries to hide, you always find some of the nephil wines left aside. Second, different are those who stand at either end. But if you would move on onwards, neither is your friend. Third, as you clearly are all different size. Neither dwarf nor giant holds death in their sides. Fourth, the second left and the second on the right are twins once you taste them, though different at first sight. Brilliant, said Hermione. This isn't magic, it's logic, a puzzle. Brilliant. No. Of seven bottles. 3 are poison, 2 are wine. 1 will safely get us back through the black fire, and 1 will get us back to the purple. Hermione read the paper several times. Which one will get you back through the purple flames? Hermione pointed at a rounded bottle at the end of the line. "You drink that," said Harry. "No, listen, get back and run. Grab brooms from the flying queue room. They'll get you out of the trapdoor and past Fluffy. Go straight to the owlie and send Bill to Dumbledore. We need him. I might be able to Snape to hold off, but I'm no match for him, really." "But Harry, what if you know who's with him? I'm the lucky." "Then, well, I was lucky once, wasn't I?" Pointing at the sky. "I might get lucky again." Hermione's lips trembled as she suddenly dashed at Harry, and she threw her arms around him. "Hermione!" "Harry, you're a great wizard, you know." "I'm not as good as you," said Harry, very embarrassed, as he let go of him. "Me?" said Hermione. "Books and cleverness. There are more important things. Friendship and bravery. And oh, Harry, be careful. You drink fast. You are sure which is which, aren't you? Positive." He took a long drink from the end, round bottle at the end, and shuddered. "It's not poison," said Hermione anxiously. "No, but it's like ice. Quick, go, before it wears off." "Good luck, take care. Go." Hermione turned and walked straight through the purple fire. Harry took a deep breath and picked up the smallest bottle. She turned to face the black flames. "Here I come," he said, and he drained the little bottle in one gulp. It was indeed as though ice was flooding his body. It put the bottle down and walked forward. He braced himself, saw the black flames licking his body, but couldn't feel them. For a moment he could see nothing but dark fire. Then he was on the other side, in the last chamber. There was already someone there, but it wasn't Snape. It wasn't even Voldemort. The end of chapter 16.